Hello and welcome. Come on in, everybody. Oh, it's been hectic to try and get on here. That's for sure. So, good day, everybody. How are you all doing in your part of the world? Hopefully you're all fine, and the cosmos is sending you positive, beautiful vibrations of greatness in your life, in amongst oh my goodness, the craziness that is coming in. So good morning. It is what can I say? I could say a lot right now. One of the things is, I'm not sure if you're feeling it, but feeling a little off kilter. I think feeling a little off kilter. Yes. And not it's information that's coming through and the decisions that are having to be made. And first off, before I lose my train of thought and before my guides come in and take over, is that I have, starting on August 4th, I have a summer tarot class coming up. It is 9 weeks. Now, the reason I spread it out so far is that I broke it down into 1-hour classes, right? And breaking down into 1-hour classes. So the first one will be on Introduction to Tarot, right? Oh, okay. Tamara has a good signal. Nobody move. Okay? That's a good thing. The next one, I'm going to do Archetypes and Major Arcanas. So I'm going to go through that, and that's a 1-hour class. Then I'm going to go through Wands and the element of fire. Then I'm going to do swords and air, coins and fire, water, and cups. So I want to do each one in 1-hour little tidbits so that you are able to get not overwhelmed with learning the tarot. So this is going to give you it's going to give you a better understanding of the energies and the elements that are coming through and when you're working with them. And just in an hour, it could, we can go over an hour, I'm just saying, but it's sort of like I'm designating this 1 hour to learning about the tarot. And as we are learning about the tarot, then if you have questions, concerns, and that way when you are playing with your cards during the week, this is just going to allow for you just to get used to them. And sometimes when you get a deck of cards, it's overwhelming. It's like, bang, oh my God, what do I know? Oh my God, there's so many. There's 78 cards. I got to know them all. Blah! So this is breaking it down. So it's going to give you in little chunks. So if there's an area of the tarot, maybe, because it's going to be also drop-in. I'm going to allow for drop-in too. So it's $10 a class or $90 for the whole thing. It's up to you. And you can do payments with that too. If $90 is a lot for your pocket at this time, which I would totally understand. So either or. And we want to come in where we're going to talk about reversals, clarifications, and spreads too at the end. Now, this is mainly a level kind of a level 1 class. And working on a level 2. So level 2 means that I go more into spreads and I'll go into more details of what you can do with the tarot and making a medicine wheel and things along that line. That's more of, I would say, once you get the hang of this, and that's the whole thing, is that in what you need to learn, you want to break it down in chunks in any type of modality. Want to catch up for coffee? You have pizzazz. I have pizzazz. Will I get married? I don't know. Are you putting yourself out there to get married? And are you, I did funny you said. Anyways, I'll talk about that in a minute. But anything that you are learning, it's about breaking things down. a lot of times when we are wanting and we get so hyped up and we're wanting to learn all of this information, we want all of it all at once. And in having it all at once, it's like, cool, great, but then maybe it just sort of sits on the sideline, and then you don't feel like you don't utilize it. So it's important to break things down. It's important to put things down into bite size, so you don't get indigestion. That's what my guides just said. So they don't get indigestion. Okay, so you don't get indigestion, and you're able to get it. So it starts on August 4th. It starts next week. And that's the way I roll, people. A lot of times with classes when they come in where I think, oh, I'm not going to do anything for August, it's like, boom, look at this. This would be a fabulous thing to do. The other class that I am working on, and because I want to give you some real positive quality to it, is Astrology 101. And with Astrology 101, I'm going to bring it in September. So September, I'm going to have 2 really beautiful classes for you. One will be the Journey Club, starting up Journey Club, learning on accepting who you are, the design who you are, the beauty of who you are, and learning the big F, which isn't fuck you, it's forgiveness. So I have that class that's going to be 8 weeks, and it's going to be every Sunday. Starting on September 13th from 1 to 4, and we're going to go through it, and we're going to be talking about it. And it's a fabulous class to look at your values, to look at where you are, where your alignment is, where you feel off. It is my signature class. I've been teaching that for 10 years. It is a class that brings you in some real beauty into your workshops. Or into your life workshops. I know they're talking to me about workshops. So the other class that I am that I'm going to be doing is Astrology 101. And Astrology 101 is going to be for 15 weeks. Right? Gotta go. See you soon, baby. So in Astrology 101 is that we're going to look at your birth chart and reveal our unique patterning and soul evolution based on where the planets and stars were on the time of your birth chart. So we're going to go through this series. Well, it's 8 weeks. I said 15, but 8 week series where we'll spend an hour or 2 discussing the value of your birth chart. Each week, we're going to be bringing information in about looking at the different quadrants of the house of your birth chart. We are going to be talking about houses. We are going to be talking about planets, the meaning of planets, and how they are aligned with you. Now, this is going to get into some detail. And so we're going to be talking about the planetary energies and the aspects and the complexes of the planets with this workshop. And I'm going to start off with bringing in the uniqueness of what each of your sun signs are. So we're going to be, it's going to involve your fire sign. We're going to talk about what the uniqueness of fire is and how that is and how you can locate that in your chart. We're also going to talk about the earth signs, the water signs. So we're going to go through, like, if you notice that there's a lot to do with, what I'm teaching has to do with elements. So, and learning about the elements. And when you understand and learn about the elements, I'm just looking at some of my notes over here. That's what I'm doing. People are like, what is she doing over there? And looking at the different elements. So each week, instead of diving in, and this is what I found, is that sometimes when I've taken astrology classes, it's like, oh my God, there's so much information. And this is a beginner class. It doesn't feel like a beginner class. So understanding the elements, where you can find in your chart air signs, where you can find, and then we're going to find where you can find water signs, and distinguish them and look at them and how and what area that they're in. Okay. Then once we go through that, and that's going to take 4 weeks. Once we do that, then we're going to go into as we go along, and we're going to, decipher the chart by houses and what each house is, and what you have in that house. So we're going to look at that uniqueness, and we're going to look at that element of what that means to you. And working on your individual chart, and we'll probably be sharing I'll be sharing other charts and stuff also. So this class, I'm starting it in September, and it's probably going to start September. I'm looking at September 3rd for this class to start. So I'm looking at September 3rd, which is a Thursday. And in this class, what we will be doing is that we will be going through all of the uniqueness and discovering things that have to do with each of the class, with each of the areas. And it is something that I feel just to have it for your own knowledge, something that if you want to add it as a tool, if you're wanting to teach with it, something that if you are wanting to utilize it with your family and understand your children more, your husband or your spouse more. And this is just giving you an clarity for you. And starting with the clarity. And as we start with the clarity, then you start to sort of understand. And when you meet people, sometimes you'll pick up, oh, they must, they got a lot of fire in them, or they got a lot of air in them. And even be curious about the kind of people that you attract around you. Like, for instance, I attract a lot of Geminis, and I attract a lot of Leos. So there's a lot of Leos and Geminis in my tribe. And having a lot of that, it's like looking at that energy. So one's fixed, one's mutable. So you just see the uniqueness in everything that's coming in and around you. So Astrology 101, it'll be starting September 3rd. So are you ready for the shenanigans of today after I went through all of that? Oh, and plus I haven't done a price point for the astrology class. I'm probably looking at it being as the same price as my Journey Club. So somewhere around there. It's all about decisions today. I looked at the chart, and I've been looking at the chart coming forward and looking at the energies as they are starting to come in. And I know the intensity is starting to come in even more than what we have felt before. And this is where I find, even with the yod yesterday pointing to Venus, and I was talking about how Venus was wanting to have us rise above and bring in, have us rise. And with this energy today, and we have us, all of it, when I look at the chart, it's like the moon has gone into Sagittarius. So we have this fire, we have the sun in fire, we have Mars in fire. So there's a lot of fire. There's a lot of passion in the energies today. And intensity, where Mercury, who is out of shadow, with this emotion, he's in Cancer. There's a lot of emotion that's coming up. And he's doing some oppositions and down to the 3 bad boys, the COVID boys. And he's looking down at these guys, and he's wanting answers. So Candace doesn't want emotion. So Candace, you could just sing right now and go, la, 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 la. Just sing along. And there's emotion that's coming, that they want. They want to feel it, right? And they want to, want to make some decisions. This is about your environment, and this is your transformation. This is change, and make me feel good, change me. And there's a lot of people that are just like, I just want to feel good. I just want to feel fabulous. But in that just feeling fabulous, is that part of your wholeness? Or is that really going to make you feel fabulous? Or is that a falsity that you are bringing about? that you're just putting a Band-Aid over something and you're not coming in to your guides. You're, being guided, listening to your intuition. It is so imperative to be listening to your intuition. It is so imperative to come into that. With the moon in Sag, it's going to bring in some more theories and ready to focus on life. So it's going to be bringing us some information there and some, maybe this will be good. Maybe that'll be good. With that, it's not so much as that, is this going to make me feel good? It's like, okay, for girls out there, even guys, okay, you go to a beauty counter and there is like all of these beauty, or you go into Sephora, God forbid, you go into Sephora. And as you go into Sephora, there is so many pretty things to look at. There's so many beautiful face creams and makeup and nail polish and whatever. And it's like, ooh, is this going to make me feel better? Is this going to make me look better? Ooh, this is going to take away this wrinkle. Ooh, this is going to enhance my cheekbones. Oh, what is this going to do? What is that going to do? The thing is, Tamara's like, hell no, I'm not going into Sephora. I don't even go into Sephora. That's just not where I'm going. But let's say you even go into a crystal shop. And you're like, ooh, but look at this crystal. Ooh, I can get rhodonite. I can get some citrine, and I can get some this beautiful angelite. And I can get look at there's this, and this is all going to make me feel good. And chances are they are, they are going to make you feel good. But there's a big but here. Big butt. Big butt. Here comes the big butt. So with this big butt coming in, is looking at, is that really going to bring the changes I soulfully want? Is that eye cream going to, it might be wonderful and great, but when I'm coming into my soul, is that really going to help me to have a connection there? Is that really where you want to go? That's where this energy is coming in. There's so much coming in and so much information coming forth for us that this is wild, radical change. And the intensities that are coming in heavier and heavier. That Mars aspect, where Mars is, and where Mars is right now is, where are you, Mars? Mars is squaring off Pluto. Mars is squaring off and going to be squaring off Jupiter, and where Mars is, and he's squaring off Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn. So where Mars is, it's 1988 when he went retrograde there, but he wasn't squaring off the mafia brothers. He wasn't squaring them off. They weren't in Capricorn. This is when the ancients, when they followed the sun and when they followed the stars and they followed the planets, they were coming in and they were watching for signs. Is this a good time to do this? What are the gods saying to us? And this is coming in with lovely Mars coming in and saying, what are the gods saying to us? It's showing us these guys over here, because we know through history that when these guys come in and when they come together, that it's bringing in some radical change. And we know that this energy of Mars, who is known as the god of war, who is in a fiery sign of Aries, who is known that of the god of war, wants to bring in some radical change for us. And bringing that change, whether that is a war within inside, and let's just talk about each person We're not going out into the collective as yet, but talk to yourself as within yourself individually. What is warring inside of you? What is that challenge that's coming up in you? And addressing it. Mars is coming in and he's slowing down. He is now at 17 degrees. And he will retrograde back to 15 degrees. He's not retrograde till September, but he's starting to slow down. The energies are slowing there. And with Mars slowing, and over the next few months, going into all the way down to the end of the year, this is about us really taking a very deep look within inside ourselves on what is making us feel upset, worried, overwhelmed. Because now we're going into the outside world. We're heading into a place with no script. There is no script here. There is no saying, okay, if we do this, this is what happens. We do this. In our lifetime, we haven't seen this for thousands of years. So we haven't lived through it. Plus, if we go back thousands of years, there wasn't the technology that we have now. And this is where we have to start to awaken and look at what is meaningful to our soul. What is meaningful for your soul. Because if you're not looking outside your own world, if you're just looking at the news that's coming in about your country and blah, 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 that's COVID, it's this, it's that, it's, oh my goodness, they're rioting in Portland, the Trudeau is going to court, this is happening with this person. If you're not actually taking a step out and starting to look at other things that are around you, i.e. China, they're flooding. Huge floods are happening in China right now. Are we seeing that? No. Because we get so narrow-minded. Because the reason why I'm bringing these things up is because we are starting to look at our supply chain. We're starting to look at where we have collectively and individually, where have you put your energy out there for somebody else to supply you? Where have you put the energy out there that you were expecting that energy to come in to supply you without coming in to your own awareness? Radical intensities coming in, and this is survival within. Looking at, okay, what do I need to start to do within myself to create? Now, I know there's huge droughts in when we go into Europe. So when we go, and I'm just going to pull up what's in Paris right now, in around France. So when we go into the energies of France right now, they've been having huge droughts in France. And the intensity of the weather there. So farmers have, it hasn't been raining. It's been hot and dry. China's been flooding. So there's been a lot of, a lot of things being washed away. And remember, I told you about the eclipse that went over China. 2 eclipses, okay, went over China. So that intensity is there. It is awakening. And I did mention that the economy of China will be collapsing because of this. This is a supply chain. So we got to look at all of the radicalness that is coming in. We have to look at where we are getting our materials, where we're getting our supplies. iPhone, I just have to talk about heat. It's starting to heat up here. Supply chain. iPhone is pushing out a phone, if anybody wanted to know. But it's like looking at that. I mean, they have money, but they're running out of supplies. So if you've ever thought of where your phone comes from, this is something my guides want me to say. If you ever thought about where your phone comes from, All phones are made in China. Just an FYI. No phones are made here in North America. They're made in China. And where are the supplies coming from? The lithium and the other parts, and where are they being mined? So we have to start looking at a lot of where we are gaining and where we are getting our materials. This is a time, and I did mention this, and I've said this before, this is to bring this into your awareness, and I've said this to you guys many times before. It's time not to go crazy and stop. I mean, it's to make sure you have backup of stuff. This means, Costco frozen foods. Yeah, this is when, canned beans, having canned goods, having, a little bit extra, maybe, the flour was on sale, having an extra bag of flour, having, dried goods. If you see something that you really like and it's low on the shelf, buy it. We're going to be finding over the next couple months, and even though it's sunny outside, people, this is, I know the grasshopper just came in. The grasshopper is coming in. We, as humans, as our humanity, this is the first time ever in all of the earth, in all of our decades of thousands and thousands of years, we have become adjusted where we don't prepare for anything. For about, I would say the last less than 100 years, we have become very prone to, I could just go to the store to get it. I could just throw that away. I don't need that. You can grow vegetables in cans. Great for potatoes. This is where, one of the things that I saw were micro gardens coming in, and people having indoor gardens, having things where, I don't even know where I wrote that down, but having things supplied. So it's gotten off track and my guides got mad at me. So looking at where we are wanting to bring in what we need. So if there's something there, let's say you go shopping and you want to bring in something extra and you see it and you haven't seen it on the shelf and you're able to get two of them, get two of them. This isn't to bring in the hoarding. This isn't to bring in, but this is to bring in awareness of where the energies are going. Have a grow tent. Maybe others should look at that in Canada in the colder. Ooh, a grow tent. Yeah, I'm putting you up there on my screen. So having a grow tent, awesome idea, beautiful idea, right? That is yeah. So having a grow tent, having something like that, it is the preparedness. If you have a generator, things are starting to go. August, as I said, by the end of August, and I mentioned this before, by the end of August, things are going to start getting more intense. Things are going to start getting a little wonkier. And that's because we're finding that our supply chain is starting to weaken. We have a very weak supply chain as it is. When you start, and it's so wonderful that we're able to trade with so many people around the world, and we've come into a world that we're able to do that. But here it is. When, as an individual or as a soul, when you start to, I can get this from this person, and I can get this from this person, and I haven't built it up internally within my own self. That is hilarious. Well, yeah, because it's going to start getting radical where you are, Tamara. This is where it's like, maybe like, who is she talking to? Who is that crazy person in Calgary she's talking to? I'm just going to put up what Tamara just wrote. as she said. So and my signal went. So see, it's this isn't this isn't to scare you. This is to awaken you. When your soul, when Mars is coming in, when our ancients, when our ancestors saw things in the sky, they knew there was something up. They knew they had to awaken. They knew that there were things that we have to look at. And now Tamara's on Facebook. Well, they don't like Periscope because Periscope has news feeds, right? That go live, and information can get out very quickly on Periscope. That's one of the reasons why I'm on Periscope. Because it is a feed that doesn't get, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? Funny, I was out looking at the stars at 4 this morning. You know, there's information that's coming in. When we are not, that's why I want to teach astrology, so that you guys understand that there's more. Get into astronomy, understand where the stars are, understand what's coming in. Right? There's intensity that they want, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but a lot of this wants to see where we are. Now, there's so many things that are coming in that the tribal is coming up. So the tribal energy is coming up. We are rising. Our roots are coming in. Our tribes are coming in. There's a group, and I can't remember what they, I don't know if they're called Packers. Anyways, and there's that group where they've been packing. They've been waiting for this shit to happen so that they can go to their underground little, go into the underground or whatever. They have, oh my God, what are they called? People, you can help me out. Somebody can, where they have a place where they can go underground. So they have, and people, they have their guns, they have their food, they have all of this. So they've been waiting for this. Bunkers. Thank you, Candace. So they have bunkers, huge, beautiful bunkers. There's there's condo bunkers that you can buy for $1 million. And these condo bunkers are old nuclear sites. They're like silos that are over they're about, 200 feet below the surface. And it's just all state of the art, oxygen coming in, being cleansed, being cleaned off, everything in case anything happens. There's penthouse suites there. There's a movie theater. There's a place for archery, guns, everything. I mean, it's just, it's called, I think it's called Texas Condos or something like that. So there's these sites that are all over the place that people are buying into, that you can, so that's one tribe. The other tribe that's coming up are people that wanting to be heard. So people that are protesting, getting out there, protesting. They're getting out there. They're wanting to have their voice. They're wanting to be said. They're just like, rawr, it's like what's happening in Portland and Seattle and that. It's like, I want to be heard. I am tired of this oppression. And if you think about it, I mean, Portland and Seattle, they're pretty hippy dippy. So it's all of this grassroots energy coming up of saying we are not going to be oppressed. The one thing with all of these tribals that are coming up is that nobody's talking. Nobody's coming together, and the energies are saying, are you coming in to the tribe? Are you coming into the tribunal? The tribunal. So this is where we have this energy of Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto, and they're like, come into the tribe. Let's talk about it so we can raise the vibration. But nobody wants to come in and say, I may not understand what you're doing, but I respect you. It is the divide that, that's been talked about. It's the divide that's coming in. And this is where, as individuals, as a collective, and remember I was mentioning months ago about finding the place where you feel comfortable, finding that tribe, finding that place where you can connect and grow and be who you can be. And now we're coming in. It's like, okay, wherever you are, that's where you are. Be happy with where you are, allow yourself to thrive where you are, and bring in that energy to thrive. And now we're coming in and saying, okay, you're in a place where we got you thriving, we got you going. If you're not thriving, let's just continue to look at things that are going to build you up. That's where it's coming in. It has to build you up. We want to build you up inside. And this is when we come out into the mundane world, which is Capricorn, saying, okay, we want to build you up, but there's things in here that you have to do. You still have to maintain a quality of your life. What does that look like? If something radically happens, because, with the pandemic, we've been long overdue for a pandemic in this world, just saying. Whether it's man-made or whether it's natural or whatever, it's here. It's here. And it's one that, oh, look at that. A little dread just decided to grow. It's one that is coming in and changing. We are in a society that is so new. We are in a society of that's very unique, right? This capitalistic society. This capitalistic society ended up coming in during the Industrial Revolution mainly, where people were starting to make millions and millions of dollars that they could never make before. People who couldn't make money before were making money. We didn't have that within our society before. We had, there was a caste system. Even, it doesn't matter where you lived in the world, back in the 1800s, there was somewhat of a caste system. So if you go back to the 1700s, 1760, back into the turn of the century to the 1800s, there's a caste system. Didn't matter where you lived, especially in Europe. If you were born a peasant, you were a peasant. You were born a farmer, you were a farmer. Everybody was a farmer. And in came the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution and the age of science came in, where people were wanting to know more about what made the world tick. And really wanting to make, I would say, they thought new discoveries, but they were old discoveries to make them new and bring them into our society. And as this grew, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew. And anybody who did not like what was being done, hence, I'll just throw out Tesla, they got rid of, because he was not for the capitalist regime. He was more for community and humanity. Like, he wanted to build something for all. Now, fast forward, as we went through World War I, boom. Okay, we went through the 20s, the stock market died, prohibition came in, people who were just drinking, who had barrels of cider outside because that's the only thing they could drink because the water wasn't that good. Bang, you can't drink, you can't do this, you can't. So oppression came in, pressure came in. Then came the 30s. The 30s was an opportunity for elitists to come in and say, hey, there's an opportunity here. And look at all this oppression that's happening in the earth. Let us do something to create maybe that they can follow us and we can bring in something new. So in came Hitler, in came, the Japanese, the imperialists, in came, people, the Communist Party was on the rise and took a hold there. So all of this energy came in, and boom, World War II happened. An explosion happened because there was so much intensity in the world, so much things happening in came the age of fire. In came this intensity of saying, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Boom, 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 boom. Then the war, right? And the war brought, different allies together and saying, hey, this is not what we want. We want to have, again, we want to bring in the harmony, we want to bring in the peace, we want to bring in family, we want to bring in freedom. Then we had, of course, the 50s, the age of the post-war, the energies of families building and everything happening. Nobody was thinking about mortgages came in, really. So mortgages were a really big thing for individuals and people buying things on credit more. All of this coming in. As it comes in, you're on a point today. As it came in, so now we're coming in, and of course we go through, and then we hit the 60s. 60s, wow, age of Aquarius, all of this new self-identification, self-awareness. That is when it comes in. Where before it's like, what do you mean you're depressed? Get over it. Get out there. Stop being fucking depressed and get a slap up the side of the head. In the 60s, no, wow, well, there's something there. We got to talk about it. We got to get into it. We got to look at our self-awareness, self-respect. Started to come in the 60s. From the 60s came the 70s. Ooh, that was weird. That's that weirdness with that Chiron in Aries. In came it in. People started to understand, ooh, there's Chiron, there's Pluto. We started bringing in other things. Pluto was founded in 1937. Even though our Sumerians and other ancestors knew about it, they just couldn't see it. They just knew about it. All of this energy starting to come in, and bang came in the 80s of like, look at us. We want to be an individual. We want to be who we are. Blah, blah, blah. You know, techno pop. You know. All the craziness started coming in, and all the techno and everything else. And then the 90s. Well, what else is happening? 1987 was a new of like, you know, new electronics were coming in. New age was coming in. And by the end of the 90s, we had the internet. We could talk to anybody in the world. In came Facebook. In came everything else. In came Google. All of these IT companies. They're new. They're new. They're babies in amongst this world that we live in. All of this energy is coming up. Now we're coming into 2020. The Mayan calendar said in 2012, when their calendar ended, a new way of the world is coming in. Not that the world was ending, but a new way, new ways of thought, new ideas are going to be starting to come in transformation. 2012 brought in a huge age of people, psychics, healers, all of this were coming out of the woodwork. Ones who wake up one morning and I can see, and they could see things. They could hear things. In came an awakening, a new type of awakening. So all of these beautiful intuitions and holistics are coming in. Now we're here in 2020. 2020, and all of these warnings in there was saying, okay, you guys might be moving a little bit too fast. Oh, what are you guys doing here? Whoa, are you guys looking at your spirituality? Are you really coming into your soul? Are you coming into grounding? Are you being here? Are you being awareness? Are you looking after your environment? And we're just like, no, we just want to use and go, 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 use and go. So the planets come in and they're like, okay, well, we're coming up to this big energies. These big energies are coming in to get you guys, you know, if you guys were doing what we were telling you before, we could bring in something really great for you. If you guys can come all into alignment. But unfortunately, we are all over the place. We have so many ideals, so many different ways of looking at things, from China to England, to Australia, to New Zealand, to Hawaii, to the United States, to Canada. All of these ways of looking at the world and doing in the world. I believe in global this. I believe in that. I believe in that. But nobody is listening. They think they're listening, but they're not listening. Nobody listens until the hand of God comes in and says, yo, hey there, ho there, what are you doing? This isn't what you're supposed to be doing. This is a time of allowing yourself to awaken, to look at where you are able to build your soul up to thrive, to shine, to ignite in amongst the craziness of the world. But not everybody's there. And we got to respect that. Mask or no mask? That's what people are arguing about. Mask or no mask? I can tell you right now, and this is so controversial, and this is really going to really bug some people out. Whether you wear a mask or not wear a mask, the fucking COVID is going to get you if it needs to get you. Just saying. Seeing all those ads of people saying, look at what, if I wear a mask, then I'm not breathing upon you. Then wear a mask. when you have the flu, when you have a cold, when you have snotty nose. Why weren't you wearing a mask then? It's the same thing. Some people like being underground. It doesn't matter. Did you wear a mask when you had the flu? Did you wear a mask when you went to work and you were sick, but you still went to work? Even though you're feeling like shit. Did you wear a mask then? Probably not. Probably didn't even think about it. Oh, I feel a little fluish. I got slight fever. I'll still go to work. So what's the difference with this? This is an awakening. This is like, whoa. Whoa. I put it this way. It's going to get you if it's going to get you. It doesn't matter. It'll show up somewhere, somehow. It always does. This is awakening for us to start looking at how we can build our soul up. How can you build your immune system up? How can you build you up? Not being egotistical and being a fucking asshole. That's not what it's about. It's about looking at how you can build yourself up to be that better person. That, okay, you want to wear a mask? God bless you. Wear a mask. That's great. If that's how you, that's wonderful. I don't judge you for wearing a mask. I love you for wearing a mask. Thank you. And love me for not wearing a mask. This is where it is. You go into a hospital now, like we had it when Mateus got his operation last week. You have to go in there, you have to wear a mask. I'm just like, why? The hospital is a breeding ground for bacteria, virals, and everything else. People have gone into the hospital and come out worse sometimes. But do they come in there and talk to you and say, hey, you know what? This is what's going on. It's like, and then I was just like, I took off my mask. Even the nurses didn't even say anything to me when I didn't have my mask on and they were talking. It's like, because they know. It's like, well, you know. It's crazy. But the energies are coming in and they're showing me everything's coming down to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. And these guys are sitting up there on, like, it's like a board. They're sitting up there and they're like saying, okay, if that's what you want, ding, that's what you get. You want that? Ding, that's what you get. That's what happens. So this is now showing me that when I look in and I do and I start, because I'm a curious bugger. So I want to know, floods in China. What's going on in China? What's going down over here? How come we haven't heard so much about Hong Kong? How come we're not hearing about the war that's happening in India? Did you know there's huge floods happening in India? And over 30,000 people have been displaced and will never be able to go back to their home? Are they worried about COVID? No, they're worried that they don't have a fucking home to go back to. Are we looking at the droughts in Africa? Or about the children who have to dig up the lithium and the crystals with sticks so we have a cell phone? Whoo-wee, baby. We're coming into some enlightenment and some fire. It doesn't matter if you're in a bunker. It doesn't matter if you're up in a treehouse. It will open up to you. This year is a year of initiation. When you go through an initiation, the treehouse sounds like fun, I know. It sounded like fun to me. That's why they showed me treehouse. Oh, I want a treehouse. This initiation year with Kali, with the goddess of Kali coming in for transformation, change, and chaos. When you go through an initiation, that means you know that 2021 and going forward is going to be work. Initiation is just, that's the easy part, baby. This is the easy part. This is the preparation. Have you seen that Texas has more restrictions on them? Like, it's great. It's like Texas is a pretty free state. Have you noticed that Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick haven't opened their borders yet. That makes me think. What's going on in Italy? What's going on in Greece? What's happening? This is a huge way for us to start saying, okay, there's craziness that's happening out there. And through this, through our history, through this opening, and, let's say we don't get the new they're pushing for this new iPhone. And the reason I think they're pushing for the new iPhone is because they know that there's going to be shit hitting in China and they won't be able to get the new iPhone out of China. Mother-in-law can stay in Fredericton, New Brunswick. This is allowing ourselves to see. So if there's things there, like I keep on getting if you like avocados, eat as much avocados now as you can. Start an avocado tree. Bananas, good luck. For us to grow bananas here. Bananas aren't something we can grow here unless you live in the Okanagan Valley. But if there's things that you like coconut water, stuff like that, I would stock up on it. Coconut water is not going to go bad. So this is what we need to look around for. Buy all the bananas and freeze them. Yes, freeze the bananas. Start freezing. Start putting things in the freezer. If you're a big meat eater, I said before, find out. There's next week I was going to take my husband, and I wanted him to go to the Crossroads because they have bison there, and you can buy bison. So you can buy a couple hundred pounds of meat of bison if you want to, and they have good prices. So things like, this is about to get what you want, what you can, and get it. You see it. More of this is going to be coming in. I'm going to be talking more about this as over the weekend, and as we are going further into this energy and going into Mars, right? You can buy all of that out here in Okotoks too. You just want me to come out to Okotoks. That's all you want me to do, Candace. You just want me out there. Come to Okotoks. So this isn't, and I keep on saying this isn't to scare you. This is to awaken you. I know my following isn't 1 million people, which is fine. I don't want it to be 1 million people. I want it to get to the people that need to hear it, and the people that will utilize the message and the energies that are coming in with the divine, and working with the divine. That is the most important work, because out of 50 people who see my video, if I times that by 10, that's 500 people. That means that out of one person, they touch 10 people, and they touch 10 people, or they touch one, and they touch one, and they touch one, and so on and so on. And I'm part of Candace's routine. So if I miss a day, I know I'll be getting some messages. Where are you? What are you doing? I'm making coffee right now. even if we go into the bunker. But it's interesting. Where are you? It's coming in with love and light, and coming in with the purity of who you are. That's the best way I can put it. Not being an asshole to other people is number one. Do not be an asshole. As much as you want to be an asshole, don't be an asshole. You don't like that people aren't wearing, and I'm going to bring up the fucking mask thing, because I know on August 1st I have to wear a mask if I go into the stores. But I don't have to wear a mask if I'm going for a walk. I'm not going to wear a mask going for a walk, going in the park, or driving my car, or in my house. Just saying. I will respect people with 6'2" meters or 6 feet. I'll respect that. To me, it doesn't make any difference if it's 2 meters or 200 feet. Just saying. The way that the world works, because we're overdue, and this is another horrible thing, is that we're overdue for a world war. And I'm not talking about a little war in Iran or Iraq. I mean, people are, those were little wars. Well, they kind of were. If comparatively to the World War II and World War I. We are in a time of wanting to. Yeah, I'll probably, you know what? I will drive out of town not to wear a mask. Horrible. I'll drive to Airdrie. Airdrie doesn't have it. I don't think Okotoks. I don't have to wear a mask. They'll probably like, ooh, who's this new person coming in here? This is bringing in huge awareness for us. And just on a side note, there's this weird goat looking thing in New Zealand. I saw a picture of it. And I know this is a side note. Now there's this weird goat that's in New Zealand. It was brought over to New Zealand, and it's a very hard one to hunt. They try and hunt it. It lives in the rocky terrains. Guys have been killed trying to hunt this thing. But the New Zealand government is wanting it out of New Zealand. Now the meat is supposed to be absolutely fabulous and very, very tasty. And it looks like something that came from another planet or something from Star Wars. It's got these big horns and it's very shaggy, very cool looking goat. But they're wanting to bring things back to its authenticity back into New Zealand, which I found very interesting. Doesn't let animals in. No, this animal came in. I know they don't let animals in. This animal's been there for 100 years or so. It's been there for a while. So it came over when New Zealand was being colonized by the colony. So, and having colonized. The other thing that I found out very cool and very interesting is there is maps they made out of sticks. So the Polynesian people made these because they traveled the ocean, they traveled the currents. They had maps, but the maps were very intricate, but they were made out of sticks tied together with some kind of twine. And they had the constellations. They would have different ones, and it would show the rising of the tide and when the tides would be coming in. See, this is what I look at. Just saying, FYI. These are the things that I find interesting. And a lot of people are trying to pick up that because there's a lot of old technology that has been lost. So people are looking up old technology in case something crazy happens. It's funny. It's like if something we get, I don't know, that's just a conspiracy theory, but I mean, shit can happen. Shit can happen. And we think we're such a young society. This society is not the society your parents lived in. This is not the society that your grandparents lived in or your great-grandparents lived in. Your great-grandparents and your grandparents probably lived in a very similar society. And same with maybe your parents, depending how old your parents are and how old you are, did. But the society that you live in and the society that your kids and your grandkids is not even going to be close to it, and it's not even going to be similar to the society that you live in. So changes are going to be happening. And of course, my Gemini son comes in because he wants to talk.
What's a good chest medicine?
A good cold medicine?
Yeah, it's like, just like a chest cold. Like I feel fine. It's just like chest.
Well, there's what's it called? Buckley's. So not today. Oh no, it's Edward. It's Edward. So Buckley's. I told him to go get Buckley's. Uh, so there's just so much energy in there, so much energy that's coming in. And come on, Eddie, just stop it. Yeah, but let's just look at, I don't even know. I lost all my train of thought, and I've been on here an hour now. Lost all my train of thought with that. So I honestly, in some ways, I'm fearful of some of the stuff that's coming forward. It really plays on my anxiety. Yet I have, if you did this in the afternoon, we could do shoots every time a family member comes in. Exactly. I think with the it's staying in our love and light, learning what we want to learn. What I did is that I rebought a book. I had it, and I don't know if I can't remember. So a book, A Woman Who Runs with the Wolves, The Myths and Stories of Wild Women and the Archetype. And I am bringing that book. I've ordered that book to read it, and I went through it. I think you have that. It's something I think that we need to revisit, because there's a lot of information in there for us, and especially as women, to come into that divine feminine energy, and where a lot of systems that we do have and that we utilize, Instagram, Facebook, things like that, are very patriarchal systems, and coming into, and that's why I was saying that a book club. And reading that book. I'm no good at doing shit like that. I'm good at joining shit like that, but I'm not good at doing shit like that. Lisa's coming in. Lisa's like, yeah, come on, mama. But Women Who Run with Wolves, I think that would be a fabulous book for people to start to get back into. My book comes in tomorrow. I ordered it this morning. I had to think about it, and I thought, do I want a Kindle? Do I want it on Kindle, or do I want the actual book? And I think I want both. You have a book club? Hold on. I'm going to show her up. Lovely little Lisa has a book club, and Candace wants a book club. So, I mean, fine, we can start with 3, we can start with 4, we can start with however many, but you guys send the information and we can pull it off and do it together. But the book is about, come in here, surfacing. The book comes in, and I'm going off. It is, it's about, okay, the first part of it is about stories, resurrection of the wild woman, stalking the intruder. This is about the natural predator of the psyche, the naive woman as prey, and the key of knowing the importance of snuffling. So this comes in, and it really comes into our inner core and working with our inner core, right? And this is where we come into gathering, and I think it's important for us to come in to gather. And the beautiful thing is that in doing this, Google has their Google thing, right? Google has a Google thing, something that doesn't have to cost a lot of, like I got Zoom, but I pay for my Zoom every morning, every day. I pay for Zoom every day, but I pay for my Zoom. So the other thing I wanted to say before everybody goes, yes, I'm reading that book. I'm also reading more information about human design and the new astrology, and bringing in different information that I'm doing. This is soul work. This is the soul work that needs to be done. if you are, I don't know anything about human design. I'm just learning about it and learning about what type of human design. But what I love about when I'm looking into the human design and then Woman Who Runs with Wolves is that I always said that not everybody manifests the same way. Everybody manifests differently in different ways of bringing forth abundance into their life. And that's when because I've joined different manifesting groups in the past and, done all the affirmations and everything. And then they say, well, your mind isn't there. Your mind isn't, ready for this or whatever they would say. But I always felt that that's why I went back to my astrology. There's always something going on in your chart for a reason why certain things are happening or what the energies are in your chart at that time. And when you understand the energies that are going on in your chart, gives you a better understanding of why, what kind of flow you're in. Because everybody has a flow, everybody has a system. So looking at that flow and honoring that flow that you're in. So that's a big thing. So doing some of the soul work, Candace and Lisa, my lovely little Lisa, my little radical girl, is if you guys really want to come in and do something like that, cool, for a book club, awesome. Go for it, because I think that would bring in some good conversation too, and really get into some depth in with it. So it does have some cool info. Like her introduction, I forgot the singing over the bones. I just want to read this. The wildlife and the wild woman are both endangered species. Over time, we have seen the feminine instinct nature looted, driven back, and overbuilt. For long periods, it has been mismanaged, like the wildlife and the wildlands. For several thousands of years, as soon as and as often as we turn our backs, it is relegated to the poorest lands in the psyche. The spiritual lands of the wild woman have, throughout history, been plundered or burnt, dens bulldozed, and natural cycles forced into unnatural rhythms to please others. It is not by accident that the pristine wilderness of our planet disappears as the understanding of our own inner wild nature fades. It is not so difficult to comprehend why old forests and old women are viewed as not very important resources. It's not such a mystery. It is not so coincidental that the wolves and the coyotes, the bears and the wildish women have similar reputations. They are all shared, related, intercal archetypes, and as such, both are erroneously reputed to be ingratious, holy, and innately dangerous and ravenous. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And that book was, I think she came out in 1993, came out again and redid in 1998. That's the most revised version, I believe. The thing is that this book is so relevant now, over 20 years later, of how much as women we are wanting to gain into our feminine energy and come into that feminine realm and step into that intuition, that knowingness, that understanding. And that's, that's funny because that's where the energies are. And it's funny that I just decided to, this book came up to me 3 times in 3 different ways in the past couple of days. And I thought, holy shit, okay, I got to look at this. So that's where, when you start looking deeply into the energies, it's like, okay, Venus was exalted. Venus was exalted. The God was pointing to her and says, you got to come into your feminine. You got to come into your divineness. And now she's coming into her divineness, and she goes, well, I need a strong masculine sign too. Right? So in comes Mars. And he's going over there and he's making some squares over to the big dudes and saying, hey, shit's going to hit the fan. We got to start changing. Right? The women aren't happy. Shit's gonna hit the fan. So, gonna love you and leave you. Thank you guys for being here. I didn't expect to be here for so long. Thank you, Candace. I'll do up the book club today and add you. Definitely, please do, Candace. And if there's anyone else who wants to join, Candace is going to do up. And let's get a move on. You can get the book. You order it today. You should be able to get it by tomorrow through Amazon. Although I don't like Amazon, but I mean, I'm going to utilize what I can right now. So have a blessed day. May the Lord and the Lady watch over each and every one of you and all that you say and all that you do and all that you be. Blessed be everybody and have a glorious day. Bye-bye.